Hello everyone, Todd with TradeLeverage.com. In this video I'm going to show a trade setup on the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, take you through the pattern itself and recognizing the pattern, then trading the breakout that occurred in this previous week's trading session. I think one of the most important things I've been stressing is the ability to draw support and resistance lines, and then of course pattern recognition, and then drawing the pattern, and then waiting for a signal to trade the breakout. Alright, so I've got the chart up right here in the 4-hour bar, and the first thing we'll do, let's just cover once again support and resistance. Now, what is support and resistance? If you don't know already, it's traders' perception of price, whether they feel price is too high or too low at that particular number. So it is somewhat subjective. It's not going to be the same, but it's going to be in the ballpark, and you got to know how to recognize this. So let's take these prior support and resistance lines already drawn and why they're drawn. Alright, so let's take the top resistance line right here and talk about why that is there, if you don't already have something in the neighborhood of 107.69 or so. That is a resistant line because you have history of price hesitating in that area, i.e. here, i.e. here, and also in this range right here. Okay, let's take the next nearest resistance. Okay, you have this line drawn here because there's a definite probe of price down here to the 107.13 area. You have some consolidation here, certainly right here. There's a pullback, and also right in this area here. Let's go back down to again resistance right here, right here, this whole area here. So you can see again going back in time where price has hesitated and then either stayed there for a while in a range or moved to the upside or to the downside. Okay, so let's take the next nearest support. Why that is, boom, right there, big probe upwards, again probe through, but also support right back here in this area. So that's kind of, once you have those things set up, you've got to adjust those as we move forward in time, and be aware of the heavy hitters again from the larger time frames going down to the smaller time frames, dictating strength of support or resistance. Okay, let's get rid of that. Now we're looking at this chart. We're looking for patterns in consolidation of price, and then waiting for a signal to either buy or sell the breakout. Do you see it? Are you able to recognize it, where price may be going? And that's the hard part. It's easy to look at a chart that's complete and then go back in time and say, oh yeah, you know, this price moved here, so therefore it moved down or up. We're going to look at a trade right here with price forming the breakout and then trying to make a decision. Now, so we're going to talk about over in this area about 12 o'clock or so, I think, on the 4th, and that was right out here. Can you see this pattern? And if you can't, we're going to start drawing it right now. We have a strong price downward here, and then we have the actual pattern forming here and here of our pennant. Okay, so once you have that, now you're looking for a breakout. Again, it's at a resistance point at about 106.50. Again, you're looking for a strong push up or down, and that's what we're going to talk about next. So you have your 4-hour drawn. Now you've got to go to lower time frames to see what's going to be happening as time advances. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. We're going to zoom in a little bit here, see if we can correct our pattern and extend it. You can see what price did. Price did go ahead and break out. But again, this is easy to see after the fact. But what you want to do is, again, we're going to break it down to the 15-minute bar. Here is the area we want to look at. If we had drawn our chart back in this area for our flag pattern, top and bottom, and then we would be waiting, waiting for this to happen here, this breakout. And it certainly does, to the degree of a minimum of 10 pips, so 17 pips or so, and our trade would be implemented above the high of this bar here to take a buy signal upwards. And let me just correct this here. With a stop loss below this pattern here, or sorry, the bottom of the flag, or the top of the flag, depending on how you're looking at it. So let's see, your stop loss is going to be right around 106.07 or so for 64 pips. Now, to the upside, you have nearest resistance here, followed by an upper resistance here. Now, you can certainly do a trailing stop, a limit, but you got to look at momentum strategies, and that's what we're going to get into after we advance this and go on in time, and certainly when you're involved in the Insiders Club, we can discuss that further, but certainly take profit with some kind of trailing stop and then move forward to the further resistance depending on momentum. But that trade would have been a solid signal, netting, let's see, we netted about 100 pips or so, but 98 pips to the upside at about 107.70 or so for a positive trade. Now you can see this trade did in fact make a move, a little dipper move here back, pulled back, and then advanced further to the upside. But those are the big things. You're waiting for this breakout pattern, and again, you need to make sure that you're waiting for confirmation. And what I mean by that is this candle here. You have to make sure that candle closes it, and then you're entering above that if in fact price does break. For instance, if you got if this had been the initial candle here, let me get rid of that. Okay. If this guy here had been your initial breakout candle, it's not showing a lot of strong momentum upwards at that point. So I would have held off on that, waiting for a more bullish candle to have closed and then trading above that. But that is the big thing, because sometimes you'll see a probe upwards and price will never reach that. So you need to always trade above the high of price after it breaks out of the initial flag pattern, and then enter on a buy signal above that, and waiting for your confirmation, which is in fact price that moves above your initial entry. So that's the trade setup for the Canadian dollar. That's fairly straightforward on this, and we're going to get into, again, more detail, especially on the Insiders Club here. We're going to talk about how to use filters on these type of trades and how to use momentum in order to gauge where the trade might be going. But the essentials of your profit target are support and resistance, and then looking at, as price moves forward, where to take your profits and get out. Until next time, happy trading.